We are third. We are actually third. 1-0 down, crowd frustrated, Palace thinking they've got us. And then, bang, red card. Bruno steps up, 1-1. Cesco does it again. This team doesn't panic anymore. It seems like this team now knows how to respond, and we can chase down whatever we want. Guys, welcome back. So after an emotional game, I'm guessing you're a bit like me. Game of two halves. It was up, it was down, but we were never out. Now let's talk properly about the game, because before the red card, you cannot have been happy. We were not convincing, because seriously, in the first half, I'm not even sure we had a shot on goal. Okay, so because we are serious about taking third, we need to talk about everything that matters, and that's what you'll get here on United Lens. So, guys, the first thing I want to talk about today is the starting lineup. You saw I hope most of you saw my preview. If you didn't, go back, watch it after this. It was obvious Cesco was going to start. I think you, me, my nan, everyone knew Cesco was starting up top. I would have liked to see Mazraoui start at right back. In a way, with the injury to Shaw early on. Thank God he didn't, because obviously it meant we could play him at left back, and I thought he'd done a superb job there. Just as good as I thought he would do if we played him at right back. So starting lineup as expected, really, if you're a true fan. I had put Martinez in, but obviously this morning I watched the embargo press conference, and it was quite clear that we might not even have Martinez back for the Newcastle game. So small knock became 2 to 3 games out. But yes, let's get it going, guys. First half, it wasn't what we wanted. That is for sure. But again, we looked really lethargic. We've got all this extra time on the training ground, and I'm expecting us to come out the blocks like the bullet train in Japan. Like, seriously, why are we not just going full force, pinning people back from the first minute? Now, certain people will be like, oh, it's a mentality thing because Palace turned us around and we were attacking the Stretford end in the first half. All that kind of thing. It can be superstition, I get it. But that's got nothing to do with what we see on the pitch, in my opinion. And you know me, I'm just going to give you how I see it, and from my point of view as a fan, and how I see it as a point of view as a coach. But before I go any further into that first half, first off, we'll say hi to Danny, straight in the house, straight in the chats. Maz is brilliant. Dallo back to terrible. Yeah, we'll come on to the fullbacks. I think before Mazraoui came on, both fullbacks did not have a good game. First off, guys, I've got to do it. Get it out of the way. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe. If you're watching over on X, please come over and hit a follow. Hit the likes. Everything you need to do. I know there's a game on now, so I respect everyone who's watching this. After this, I'm going to be catching the end of the second half of the Arsenal-Chelsea game. And let's be honest, if we can get a draw there, our day's just going to get even better. But let's get back to breaking down this game. And I think the first thing we need to look at, and it's the best thing to look at, is that right here, right now, we are up into third, people. That is what it's all about. And let's be honest, at the end of 2025, I'm not sure we even thought were capable of getting fourth, let alone moving up into third. And of course, we play Villa in 2 games' time as well. So, that's good to look at. Now the hunt is on for City, right? What are they? 8 points in front of us. I think we can hunt that down. They've got Champions League ties coming up, same as Arsenal. You never know, guys. You never know. But if we just keep beating the team in front of us, I think we are now 11 games unbeaten. We are the second best team in Europe. Only Inter Milan have won more games in a row than us. Let's get rid of that. We don't need to keep that up there. but it's always great to see, right? Yeah, Sky Sports put the stat up on the screen. Inter Milan have won 15 games. We were unbeaten in the last 15 games, not won 15 games in a row. Unbeaten in the last 15. We're unbeaten in 10, and then obviously we went and won today, so that makes 11. This is all stuff which dreams are made of, and that's how we're going to continue our season, in my eyes, all the way through. Can we go unbeaten in 20? So, but let's get back to today's game. Obviously, we went 1-0 down after about 20 minutes, I think it was. Horrendous goal to concede. After all the superb defending we did in the previous, I'd say, from the Arsenal game, even City, West Ham, everyone put us under pressure on the corners. This was probably the most open corner we've conceded. Lenny Yoro, absolute no man's land. Lost his marker, turned his back to the ball, and it was that simple. But the header, nothing you can do about the header. From Yoro's point of view, straight back across. I'm going to be slightly critical of the goalkeeper. I would have liked to see him at least try and dive. I don't think he sees it that late. I think he thinks it's going wide and doesn't throw himself for it. My main reason for saying that, we've grown up with a De Gea, we've grown up with a Schmeichel, a Van der Sar. I think they throw themselves across. Whether they get there or not is a different question. Come back at me if you think I'm being too critical. But when you see it, I think it travels a long way. It goes probably about, I don't know, 8-9 yards across the box, straight into the bottom corner. Yes, but you've got to be throwing yourself across. But mainly, maybe the keeper was just in shock at how bad the defending was from Euro at that point. Again, not trying to be critical, but it's quite obvious that as soon as you turn your back on the ball and the player you're looking at can see it, you haven't got a hope in hell of cutting it out. So not sure what went on there. He looked quite unsteady in the first half, but he's still learning. At the end of the day, what is he, 19? He's still learning. I think I said I would have preferred Aiden Heaven to come in this game. Obviously, he got a few minutes. We're not sure quite why Maguire went off. I'm hoping it's just to rest him for Wednesday night. He's had a slight issue with his thigh or hamstring or something because he went off in the last few games. But if we're in a strong position where we're winning games and we can protect him, that's perfect for me. So and I can't see anyone else really disagreeing there. What's Danny said here? Yeah, shocking from Euro. Perfect header. Doubt any keeper saves it. Yeah, it's not about the keeper saving it. I just want to make that crystal clear. But you've got to give yourself a chance of saving it. So sometimes even throwing yourself across the goal in hope, even if you dive a little bit after the fact, I'm not talking once the ball's in the net, it just takes that sort of doubt. It takes that doubt out of your coach. It takes that doubt out of your manager going, well, you could have at least tried. Okay. So that's just maybe an old-fashioned way of looking at it. But I just think that maybe he could have done a lot better. So in that fact, I think he can take one step across. If you saw Monday Night Football with Edwin van der Sar, Jamie Carragher, they were looking at Lemans and obviously Pickford. There was a picture of Pickford where he's not so tall, where he has to move his feet and take an extra step, and he just throws himself and he makes that fingertip save, and you see him, he's perfectly parallel to the ground. I'd just like to see a bit more of that. I know he's got it in him, but he's also 23 and he's also still learning as well, which 23 is like having him a 16, 17-year-old outfield player as a goalkeeper. So yes, that's where we are on the goal. Trevor's in the house. Evening. Is that you, Mark, or your twin brother? I'm sure I've seen you in boy band previously. Definitely the Proclaimers. And I would walk 500 miles. Hey, if you want to walk 500 miles for me, if you can do it as a charity donation, I will take all charity donations towards the channel, Trevor. That's absolutely fine by me. But no, it is a fresh fresh trim. Was out for dinner with the missus last night. So got the beard, the hair. You know, unfortunately, still haven't got the looks, but you know, is what it is. You can't have everything. But it's not the only thing, Trevor. Today we're in a totally different setup. We've got new lighting. We've got a new mic. So hopefully you guys are going to have to let me know if I sound better. I'm not sure the mic's necessarily going to help with that. But if I look better, sound better, it's all good for the channel going forward, so I can get my points across maybe with a little bit more clarity on the picture and not just my voice. So yes, that's where we are. We go 1-0 down, and I didn't feel like that we had the urgency in that first half to try and get a goal back. So that will always worry me. I've said before, it's my mentality as a coach or a footballer is you go 1-0 down while they're celebrating, get the ball, pick it up, run it back to the centre circle and be ready to go, be ready to rock and roll, wait for them to get back in their half, and then bang, you go at them. It's starting to look a little bit Ollie-esque, dare I say it. Now, when Ollie was there, do you remember we used to say we were a second half team? Second half, we get a bollocking at half time, we come out and we beat teams. I don't want to go back to that. I want to see a 90-minute team. So I'm still looking for sort of that drive from the players to that want. In a big game, if you're playing Arsenal City, we know it's there. So today was another example of let's still keep an eye on these players. You know, are these every single one of these? Are these the ones we want at the club? For mentality reasons. Ability is one thing, mentality is not. The first half for me came down to one major issue, and I'm gonna put a graphic up on the screen. So while I sort that, we'll have a quick look at the chat. Let's get the graphic up. So what's Trevor saying here? Euro is still not developed fully as a defender yet. As a centre back, he's a left centre back, not a right centre back. Yeah, there's a few things I don't really get with Euro, Trevor. You know, he is a great player, and he has a lot of potential. But it just feels at the moment his mentality and his wanting to win is there. But sometimes you can find with players, but it takes their, well, we'll just call it their eye off the ball. So, and I think what I'm about to show you, and I hope try and explain, because I doubt many channels will do this, because one thing you know with the United lens and myself and anyone I ever let on the channel is there's no such thing as you have your favourite player. There's not. It's about Manchester United and Manchester United only. Players don't come into it. You have a job, do your job, and that's just how I am. So here we go. Let's put this one up for you guys. So the main fear I had when I was watching the first half was our left-hand side, and I continue to have this fear until we get Dorgu back. Oh God, I was going to say Dallo back for some reason, but no. Until we get Dorgu back, I will be worried. So you can see here. So now I put up the two heat maps of Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. Now Mbeumo even ended up finishing the last 10 minutes up front. So even when he goes up front, you can see quite clearly he stays here in his orange patch. Yeah, but you can see that basically, apart from the odd time he's maybe covered back for someone else, he stayed in his right-hand channel and he was delivering the ball, driving into the box, cutbacks, not enough again. And obviously, we only seem to get corners on one-hand side of the pitch. Compared to Acuna, who was meant to be our left-sided player and are out on the left. Now, I can't be 100% sure what happened. Sure about sure. They showed his foot getting stood on, but the way he went down, he never showed the top of his foot and he walked off. And he didn't look 100% when he was playing. He started poorly anyway, so maybe he already had a knock. But if you see where Cunha is coming over here to the right, Bruno was also in that space and Mbumo was in that space. This heat map should look like Mbumo's because that's the instruction from the manager. I'm telling you now, as a coach, as someone who's sat in on seminars, things, no one tells one winger to come across the pitch and one winger to stay wide on his side of the pitch. No coach ever does that. We talk about overlaps. We might talk about both tucking in, so the fullbacks do the running down the outside. But that was not the case. So Shaw was not getting forward really past the halfway line, and he wasn't expected to do it quick enough. I even saw players picking the ball up on the right, looking left to play the crossfield ball, and there was no one there. So this is a problem for me. And I've said about Cunha and his discipline, because we have Bruno, who he's very ill-disciplined as well, and we allow it because, like today, he gets us out of jail more often than not. So he's got his 13th assist of the season for Cesco, which is the winner. And obviously, penalties are penalties. You know, I don't read into penalties. I think if you're given a ball as a professional footballer from 12 yards, unless the keeper pulls off a weldy, you should be scoring and hitting the target. That's personal opinion. So yeah, this isn't good enough for me. But I did notice in the second half that I think most of what you do see in the channel came then, because in the second, I could see Bruno playing mainly out on the left for most of the first half, which meant we couldn't get balls in the box, and basically the whole thing went tits up. Whatever our attacking structure was wrong in the first half. Right, let's get that back off the screen. That's enough just looking at heat maps. You know, I'm not a massive stat fan, but heat maps, they're just true. With your trackers on, there's nothing you can disagree with that. And one thing I will say about that is Brian Mbeumo had a more precise heat map with 10 less touches in the game than Cunha. Yet they got the same rating. I'm not entirely sure about all those stats and how they get their ratings like they do. So let me know, guys. What do you think? You know, let me know what you think about that sort of take on Cunha, because we know he's not an out-and-out left-hand sided player. We know we only really have Dorgu to do that. Or, you know, in hindsight, would we have been better playing Ahmad or Bruno? Not Bruno, sorry, Brian over there in the long run and putting Cunha on the bench, because I feel like Cunha's the kind of player who gets comfortable, and I think he needs to be dropped from time to time, just keep him grounded. And I don't have a problem with that. Let's have a look, see what the chat was saying. Potential, that's the problem, Mark. It's only potential. Yeah, potential doesn't always work out. Everyone has potential when a club signs them. Is that a heat map from the Hulk? Yeah, I'm not sure why they start with the base colour in green. You know, green going through to orange, you know, yellow, orange to red. Not sure why green would be the base colour. Maybe just start with yellow, orange and red, like small, medium and large. So yeah, Trevor says here, Cunha is more of a central player. He's basically been used on the left to be fit into the team, which is, I don't know. Does everyone else see it like that? You know, that's how I'm sort of trying to describe it without putting my thoughts on you. But, you know, come back at me if you agree with Trevor as well. But his perfect position is where Bruno is, yes. And that's why we bought him. You've got to remember, we bought Cunha for a manager who wanted to play 2 10s. Although he didn't play Bruno in one of those 10s, that's what he wanted. So, yeah, that's just my take. Like I say, I just wanted to have a say on that. I think it's something to keep an eye on until Dorgu's back. But then, even when Dorgu comes back, do you think it'd be hard to drop Cunha? Do you think he's doing his job? So again, guys, your takes are what I want to hear. You know, whether it be in the comments or in the live chat, I'm open to all fan debate. I've got Danny saying it's 1-1. Danny, are we talking about Arsenal Chelsea there? A little bit more of information. I haven't actually got the game up. I probably should keep an eye on it. you are talking about Arsenal, Chelsea, Saliba, and then an own goal to level it just on the stroke of half time. Even better. Yeah, Danny's saying he's a 10 and Dorgu at left back. Maybe. But left back could a potential issue, but isn't really a massive issue right now. So that's it about the first half and what I saw. I don't know what your impressions of the first half were. I'm guessing they would be very sort of lackluster, lacking urgency. Come on, we got to do better. So at half time, we go in. Again, it seems like 3 games on the trot. We're talking about going in at half time and the players needing a kick up the arse. You know, our passing was off the pace, the accuracy wasn't there, and everything in between. Second half came out, and Jesus Christ, we were actually on it from their centre, chasing it down, and you could just see it. It was like we bit between the teeth. We were at Old Trafford. Maybe they did have a bit of a bollock on the manager this time. Maybe Carrick did need to shout, because now when I see United chasing down every ball, the pressing was I don't know 3, 4, 5 times better than it was. I was more than happy with that. Now, obviously, it didn't take long for us to get a goal. And getting that goal was... I'm not sure. I'm going to be really interested on people's takes for the penalty. So I will go into that. I think before the penalty, we started putting the pressure on, and what was it? We scored in like the... I can't remember now. Let's have a look. What was it? It was 57. So like I said, the pressure came out, and we were on them. They were caught a little bit flat-footed, and we punished them. But I'm gonna be honest. That for me is the softest penalty we've got this year. But of course, we're going to take it. Yeah, we all agree. A penalty is a penalty, and we've been hard done by dodgy handballs, sendings off in the box. So, but for me, that was outside the box. The first pullback was outside the box. But fortunately, they showed the picture of him pulling him back once his foot was on the line. So therefore, that counts. And it was one hell of a dive by Cunha, just threw himself down. I will never be on board with that. But it happened. Now, the question I have for everyone else, do you think it was a red card? Because by the letter of the law, it was a holding offence that denied him getting to the ball to get in the box. And we all know how this rule works, because we all absolutely went mental at the beginning of the season when... I can't remember who it was. I want to say Bruno was held back and couldn't lunge for the ball. No, it was Xerxes, wasn't it? I think it was Xerxes. Couldn't lunge for the ball, and they were like, "Oh yeah, but he wouldn't have got it anyway." So the pen I can agree with being given. Like I say, I feel it's soft. The red card, like again, I'm starting to lose track of what is a foul, what is a yellow, what is a red, what is a handball, because from what I'm seeing, Cunha was never getting to that ball. So therefore, it's a penalty with a yellow card, because I think Henderson gets down and smothers it. But, sometimes we've got to turn that into just a massive positive. And today we did. Bruno steps up, does his no-nonsense run up, no jump, no little fake to see which way you're going. That doesn't work with someone like Henderson, who's probably taken many a penalty against in training. It is run up, pick a side, and put it there with power, which I absolutely loved. So we go 1-1. And from that point, I thought with the sending off, that was it, game over for Palace. So let's have a quick look what you guys thought about that. Yeah, Danny thinks we got away with the penalty. We were lucky. Was definitely a pen. It's the way the new rules is interpreted these days, and also a sending off. It's snowflake football, really. That's pretty much, Trevor, what I was trying to say. When you have to use the word interpreted, then for me, that's not a rule. A rule is a black and white. You touched it with your hand, it's handball. There's no accidental handball as you touched it with your hand. That's the way that handball rules should be. But then now it's all about, oh, but if it hits your foot and hits your hand, that's not handball. But if it hits the striker's foot and hits his hand, his goal gets disallowed. You know, that's just one instance of one rule for two different, depending if you're defending team or the attacking team. That's wrong. That handball is handball. Penalty is a penalty. Now, the pullback events, if this is going to be a stonewall, you pulled him back, you stopped him from getting the ball. So now we don't know what the outcome was. It's a red card. It's a professional foul. Pulling of the shirt, pulling you back is a professional foul. And they're going to issue red cards for it unless it's like clear and obvious that the ball had gone out of play or someone else had already cleared it. Law is law. I am the law. Just call me Dread. No, Dread. The only dread is that it wasn't going to be given when they were taking so long on VAR. Cunha for me was definitely getting to the ball as Henderson was not on his heel. He was on his heels further back. Maybe, and that's what I mean. It's interpretation of momentum, so many things, and that's not a good rule. You look at so many other sports, most of their rules are black and white. There should be no interpretation, and they have moving objects in their games as well. So rugby, hockey, netball, a rule is a rule. You just go with it and you have to accept it. But in football, we argue every single call, and there's nothing wrong with that. Today, it went in our favour. Next week, it might not. So 1-1, everyone's happy, and yeah, like I say, from that moment, we knew that it was game on, and there was only one team that was going to come out on top. Then 65 minutes, Bruno pops up, 13th assist of the season. I can't remember what he's chasing. Is it 20 assists or something like that in the season, or involvements? But yeah, 13th assist, superb cross into the box, and bang, Cesco with what I will call the perfect attacking header. He waits for the centre back to set his feet, ready to jump, and he dives in front of him. Well, not dives. Don't get excited. It wasn't diving header. They're almost out of the game as well. But he just nips in front of him, gets to the ball first, bang, heads it down, bottom corner. Absolutely perfect cross and finish. And that was it. I was up. I was almost doing the Cesco celebration myself because that boy deserves everything he's getting at the moment. A lot of you know I'm a big Rasmus Højlund fan, and the comparison to Cesco is getting further and further apart, and I'm okay for that. I like to be proven wrong. I can have my opinion on the player, but it's his job to go out, play one season. Let's see how you are. Play your second season. Right, let's see what happens. What's second season syndrome like? Right now, Cesco, don't matter if he's on the bench or if he's on the pitch, he's scoring goals, and that's what we want at Manchester United. There ain't a fan out there it doesn't matter who puts it in. We want every player that comes off the bench to score, and we want every player that's in the starting 11 to score. And Cesco, I am more than happy for right now. So, yes. But I felt like it was one of the only few decent crosses we put in the box for him. I don't know what kind of triggers they're training the strikers to have, because what you need is a trigger to make your run. So if you're old enough to remember David Beckham, we always knew as soon as Gary Neville made the overlap past him and the defender dropped or moved, the ball's coming in. So as soon as Neville goes, I can make a run across the post, i.e. 3 players, and you go front, middle and back, the ball's coming in, someone's getting their head on it 9 times out of 10. Whether they scored or not, that's down to them. But that's a trigger. With the only trigger we have is we're going to dribble to the edge of the 18-yard box. We're going to have an overlap. Then we're going to pass it back. And if Bruno's in the right-hand side, the ball goes in the box. Okay? That's the only trigger. And we need more. We need more because that's why you can't make attacking runs. Um, but they're coming slowly. They are coming very slowly. And game on game, I'm seeing a lot of progression in different aspects. And it will soon be about just knitting it all together. And we play 90 minutes, fast-paced football. We played some great one-touch football around the edge of their box today. Didn't come to anything, but I said a few videos back for all our one-touch play with all the TikTok rhymes, Bruno, Cesco, Cunha, all of that. But we were going backwards. Now we're starting to get it going forwards. So I can see people talking about the Cesco chance here, also about the Arsenal game. Let's leave the Arsenal game out of this right now. We can talk about that at the end. What's this? Højlund is only half the player Cesco is. He has more intelligence for one. Yeah, and that's a thing, right? So you can be an out and out goal scorer, but what you need with that is balls constantly put across the box. I sometimes worry about Haaland's football intelligence because I don't think he always makes the most intelligent run, but we also don't know what's being coached in and out of him. So I'm not comparing Højlund and Haaland in the same bracket, but Højlund's intelligence, when I see the Napoli, he knows that ball's coming in and he's making more intelligent runs. So, like I say, I will always keep the comparison. The same scouts looked at Cesco that looked at Højlund. So they obviously look for the same talents that are good enough for us. Beckham, best cross of the ball in Premier League history. Yeah, let's be honest. If Beckham's not one of the next names into the Hall of Fame, then something's going wrong because I know they're trying not to just constantly put United players in, but it is very hard not to. We have dominated it for so long, especially if you're building a Hall of Fame. It's got to be the early on players, right? I thought was handball, Trevor. Oh, what's this? So, what did you think was handball? Okay, so I'm guessing there's a bit of a dodgy goal. Right, but moving on, guys. Moving on. So we scored the second goal. We had a couple of shots from outside the box. Casemiro was really unlucky. I thought it was a great save from Henderson, the volley. Corner coming, or was it a free kick or a cross afterwards? I can't remember, but we were all in the box. He hits a really well-controlled volley, and he just gets a little bit too much bend on it towards Henderson, who manages to get his hand out and save it. But I felt like, let's go, let's get a third. The third was there, but we made the changes, bringing on Xerxes up top. What a touch by Xerxes. If you haven't seen it, it's so good. It puts Dallo on his ass when he controls it and lays it off, because I think Dallo was not expecting it. Pulls it out the air like he's got glue on his boot, like almost prime Maradona type. But, that's the kind of thing we know he's capable of doing. So I feel that was a change. Ahmad obviously coming off the bench. We were talking about how Ahmad needed a rest, maybe needed a reset in his mentality. Like, hey, don't be comfortable. You don't perform, I can change things up. He came off the bench. He took players on. He hit an absolute thunderbolt from outside the box, which again, Henderson pulled off a great save. In my preview, I was saying about Henderson, like, is he going to be there trying to just do weldies and stopping us? Again, how many times in this reaction have I said, oh, Henderson this, Henderson that? I felt we should have piled more pressure on him. Maybe on a corner, swing one in, put him in the back of his net. Make him stop coming for balls, make him doubt. Oh, actually, if I go for that, there's going to be a bit of contact. But overall, more than happy with how the game finished. We got some fresh legs on. I thought Mazraoui was absolutely superb at left back, sort of come out of the cold, come on for sure. I thought he'd done the job. Second half, he was overlapping with Cunha. Like I say, Cunha stayed out there. It was good to see Aiden Heaven come on and get a few minutes. I felt he's been hard done by with Euro coming in. If I had to pick either of the two centre backs, I would have kept Maguire at right centre back and brought Aiden Heaven in. because of how good he was playing with Martinez before that. And did we bring anyone else on? Xerxes, Ahmad, Heaven, Mazrari. I feel like we brought someone else on. We didn't, do we? Don't think we did. Trevor just said they tried to do Everton for one corner, and after that they gave up. The way they marked on their corners and the way they attacked their corners, there was a lot more construction and different areas that someone could attack the ball. It wasn't just swing it under the bar, which, let's be fair, none of us really want to see that. But guys, let's wrap up that as a game. I say it many a time. I can critique a game. I can say, mate, I'd like to see us do better here. I'd like this in the next game. Make sure game on game on game we're taking steps forward, especially under an interim manager, because it's going to be even harder for him to put his thoughts across, personally. But yes, player ratings. Now, like I say, instantly, I would normally say that we won't rate the subs, but obviously with Mazrari coming on, maybe sure we just give a solid, I don't know, 5-2 today. I didn't think he was amazing, so I'm just getting the player ratings up if anyone wondered why I was looking away. Yeah, let's have a go. So let's start with Lemans in goal. Obviously conceded the goal. I would have liked to see him make a dive. What happened after that? Did he make any saves? I'm just trying to think. I don't think there was any clear-cut opportunities. We blocked a few of their shots. So I'm going to go with a solid 6 for Lemons, I think. As a goalkeeper, it's always hard. If you don't have any actions, I don't think it's fair to give you a 7. So I'll go 6. Danny's already come straight in with Mazrari for a man of the match contender. We will come to man of the match at the end. Let's go from right to left. Dallo. I felt he was better in the second half. His crossing was absolute just waste of the ball. So I'll give him a 5. I'll give him a 5. You'll probably say, remember, I don't do points anything. It's a 5 or it's a 6. So for me, it's a 5. Lenny Euro, really bad first half again. Just feel he's struggling for confidence at the moment. But apart from the corner, he done his job. He handled Strand Larsen well enough with Harry. Got in front of him, done his job. So I'll give him a 6. Harry Maguire, 7, as always. Everything in the box he blocked. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Probably one of our most consistent players since December, since he came back. I've already said Luke Shaw, I'm going to give a 5. I don't want to give him a 4. He got injured. I'm not sure if he was carrying something. Danny disagrees. He's gone with Dallo with a 3. So I think that's a little bit harsh when we won. So he's obviously still got to perform in his defensive structure. So that's the one we should be judging him the most about, is what he does in defence. Everything else is a bonus. So yeah, then we'll bring in obviously Mazrari. Mazrari for me, mate. Well, I can't call him a makeshift left back because I know he's a left back for the national team. So I felt he dealt well with everything he had to. Obviously, the sending off in the second half made it easier for him. They obviously couldn't get out and play down the wings as much. So I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was great when he came on, intercepted. Like I say, he got forward. He done his job. So him and Harry Maguire, 7s. Lenny Euro. What did I say for Euro? 6. And then Dallo with a appalling 5, which I think that's good enough. Casemiro, the man, the myth, the legend. Again, first half, poor passing. But but that's the whole team. That's not one player. I think Casemiro, I'd probably get a 6 out of 10. Didn't really do anything wrong. Was unlucky not to score. I think twice. He managed to get in on a header. He was at full stretch, couldn't bring it down. And obviously, like I said, he had a really good controlled volley at the back post. I'm tied between 6 and 7. And before anyone says it or laughs, that was not there for fun. Do you know what? We'll go 7 because we controlled the midfield and he just kept the ball ticking in the second half. Kobe Mainoo he's just there, isn't he, at the moment? He's just doing the job. He's just ticking it over. Some great touches, feeding the ball round the corner. And I think that Mainoo, again, I think 7's good enough. Like I say, if I'm giving Casemiro a 7, I've got to give Kobe a 7. Because, to be honest, they're like father and son out there. I know Kobe looks up to Casemiro so highly. So, interesting. I'm going to have to come back on that. Mainoo he's just doing the job. But again, his most important thing for Mainoo at the moment is to be the double pivot with Casemiro, but to make it look easy, make it not look like a double pivot. So I was happy. I'll go 6 for Mainoo, 7 for Casemiro, 6 for Mainoo. So what we got here? Oh, Sean's in the house. Evening, big up, Sean. Nice of you to join. You're feeling the haircut. Yeah, I've had a few comments about it. You know, it just got to that time. Unlike Frank, I'm not waiting for 5 in a row. I just needed to get it sorted. I said at the beginning of the show we had date night with the wife, and you know that means you got to pull out all the stops, right? So I don't do 0.5s. It's a 6 or it's a 7. Do not sit on the fence. Mainoo was an average 5. Danny says 6. You can sort of see where I was going. I think Mainoo's going under the radar a little. So I can understand that. Bruno in the first half again was not what we want. Okay, even he was having bad touches, dropping the ball. So the intensity wasn't there because sometimes you try and cushion a ball off, and you cushion that ball off because someone should be running onto it. And I felt like we were strolling. So sometimes the players around you can make your pass look bad, and then on another day you're just playing a bad pass. So you do have to take that into account. And with Bruno, when we know what a good passer of the ball he is, sometimes look at the run or where he was trying to put it, and did that person commit? So I would say, obviously, with a goal and an assist, even though the goal's a penalty, I'm not marking it down. Oh, he scored a screamer. Like I say, and I will always say it, a penalty should be a goal. 12 yards out, the keeper's standing still, can't move. You've just got to smash it left or right of him and hit the target, and you're paid hundreds of thousands of pounds to do that. So I think any player should score a penalty. And if you haven't got the bottle for it, you should never be standing up there taking it. So it's a simple. You go, some people get nervous or whatever, then don't take the penalty. Trevor's gone straight in. Bruno, 8, goal and a brilliant cross for the assist. Absolutely. So, yeah, I'll probably go an 8 for Bruno as well. I think I'm happy with an 8 for Bruno. But I think he was our standout performer, followed by probably Mazraoui. So Mbeumo was... Well, both our wingers were a bit hit and miss today. I don't think we're using the wings enough. But like I showed you earlier on in the show where I put up the heat map, and Mbeumo was holding his width. It was clear as day. Whenever I looked out there, he was no more than 5 yards away from the line. If the ball was on the left-hand side, ready for the crossfield pass, ready to stretch the play as much as possible. So I'll give Brian a 7. I'm happy with a 7. At the end of the day, he makes the runs, he causes problems, and he tracks back. And he's a hard worker. And I'm always going to mark someone up on their work ethic on the pitch. Interesting. Okay, Danny's gone with a 6 from Boomo. Trevor's gone with a 7. I doubt I'll get markings out of Sean. I like to keep that for his own show. Cunha, I'm not happy with Cunha at the moment. I think he's I'm gonna say it. I know we're before the 9 o'clock schedule, but at the end of the day, it is my take. I'm sorry, Cunha's a 6. I could easily have given him a 5 today. I know he's got the penalty, but if you're me, Cunha, that was a dive. That was a dive for the penalty. The guy did not. He's pulling you back. You cannot fall forwards. He didn't pull him back, hold him, and let go. So for me, I think I'm being too harsh by giving him a 5. So I'll go with a 6. But he needs to do more. He needs to be more disciplined. We've seen the Everton display where he was getting back, tracking back with Garner. But now I feel like the only reason he was tracking Garner back was because Garner was giving him some, letting him have it in his ear and having a pop at him. And he basically wanted to prove him wrong. But what he needs to do is prove everyone wrong at all times. You're a Manchester United player now. You're not at Wolves. You're not at all these other clubs. He wouldn't have done that at Atletico Madrid. You do as you're bloody told, and you need to start doing that at Man United, because if you've got to stand in on the left, then play the bloody left, because I don't want to go into a rant about it. I've already done it earlier in the show. Just hold your position. By holding your position, the whole team can function. Coming out of your position, you're getting marked down in your ratings. That's what I'm saying. So for me, I'm going to go with a 6 for Cunha. I'm looking at the chat, and we've got a 6, a 7. Bloody hell, guys, stop making me say 6, 7. I swear you're doing this on purpose. Cunha needs to pass the ball, absolutely, but he's a ball carrier. So when you have a ball carrier, stay wide, get your fullback 1v1 and go past him and do something with the ball. So drive into the box and actually get tripped up. So being a ball carrier, absolutely. So stay out there, stay in space, stop coming into the crowded area. Remember, Cunha's playing out of position. Hey, is there a position that a professional footballer shouldn't really be able to play when told? Playing out of position is one thing, and playing badly, but playing out of position and not staying there, that's something different. And in the summer, when all our games are finished and I go through sort of more my thoughts on formations, tactical breakdowns, that's a little insight into things to come in the future over the World Cup. I'll explain why just one person being 5 to 10 yards out of their position can destroy a whole team, in a negative way. Cunha was holding on to the ball too much. Don't give the ref decision to make. Yeah, well, that's very true, Sean. This is probably where football is today. If you don't put your hand on him, you find out whether or not he gets on the ball, and you can actually just then try and focus on getting back goal side of him and throwing in a tackle. Oh, we don't bring that one up yet. So that's everyone, apart from Big Ben Cesco, or as I keep trying to refer to him as Mr. Fong Song, Cisco, because at the moment this guy should be dancing all the way to the bank for his goal bonuses, because he's absolutely on fire for us. He doesn't need to score 3 goals a game, a hat trick, which was always my target. I'll just go out there and score the winner. That'll do me. We'll win 2-1. I've scored it, and I'll come off after. Great. Absolutely great. For me, though, we didn't get enough out of Cesco. That's on us as a team. So in theory, I should be giving Cesco an 8 because he scored. It was the winner. But I can't really remember what much else he did. As in standout interactions. There was some good link-up play, some good hold-up play. But as a team, we're not utilising him. I've said it on. Funny enough, funny you're here, Sean, because I said it on your show the other day when you were talking about him, and I said it on my preview. Why are we not crossing the ball constantly with him in the box? But when he comes off, we're getting back to the byline. Ahmad's coming on. He's taking people on it. We're whipping cross in, whether it's an in swinger or an out swinger. So we're not getting the best from Cesco because we're not utilising him. So for me, his movement up top is great. He's pinning the centre back. He's making space for other people where he's spinning on the blind side to create space in between the fullback and that side centre back for, say, an Mbumo or a Cunha to go into, or even a late run from Bruno. But I'm going to give him a 7. I'm happy giving him a 7. If I did do 0.5, so you'd get the extra 0.5 for the winner. But for me, Bruno was a standout performer, so therefore he's getting the 8. And I always give honorary mentions to Cesco and Mazraoui for their performances. Everyone else needs really to step up their game. And I've marked them up more on their defensive duties and getting us across the line than our attacking play today. So, yeah, let's just have a look, because I see... Hey, Trevor, I'm off on a cruise, but you're still going to get content out of me, because one thing I am is consistent. I will try ever so much to stick to my reviews, previews, but there's got to be some other content coming from me, and I'm working on it. I might even be buying myself an overhead camera and a tactics board. Instead of just drawing on the screen. But that's to be discussed, and the missus allowing me to spend more funds. You know how it works. So what we got here? Good positions and movements from him. Perfect header. We just didn't get the ball to our attackers enough, especially in the first half. Yep, Sean. Me and Sean are definitely very close wavelengths wise on how we see the game. I do like it. He's starting to win flick-ons with which is a big plus. Yeah, he flicked one on early on in the first half. He flicked it to the left, and Cunha's standing in front of him. So he's flicked it on, and you could just see Bruno and Cesco look at Cunha like, you're not meant to be there. You're meant to be the back post runner. So, yeah, totally agree with that. Having an out-and-out 9 on the pitch makes a massive difference. Of course it does. Of course it does. It gives you an opportunity to just isolate one player. You can go 10v10. If you play 2 strikers, you can go 9v9, because as long as the striker is in contact with his centre-back, that's it. You don't even need to play in the ball. No one wants to be man-marked, whether it's the attacker or the attacker man-marking the defender and isolating them. So, yeah, totally agree. Having that 9 who can also run in behind, when say, like last week, although he didn't hit rocket speed to score his goal, in fact, it may have been the slowest outpacing of a centre back I've seen in the Premier League for him to score. But it shows his willingness to do that, and that makes defenders have to think twice, because it's not all about they're going to pick the ball up, knock it past me, and run. If he's going to go in behind or flick it in behind, it makes you think. Well, maybe sometimes even more than twice. Man of the match, Bruno. Twat of the match, Dallo. Yeah, Dallo had Dallo-ness today. It is what it is. Where are you off on a cruise, Mark? Antarctica. No, I would love to do a cruise around the South Pole. Trevor, the other kind of ancient history I'm into, but my mum is getting married this year, and she is doing it on a cruise. So we're off doing France and Spain, multiple stops. So the kids have never stepped foot on a cruise liner. I wish more of the family were coming, but it is what it is. I'll be there to support her. My bank balance will be in the red for a while, so we will see. But you know, like I say, it's about commitment. I'm committed to you guys. I ask everyone who watches this, commit to me, because that's what I'm going to give back to you. I'm going to give you honesty. I'm going to keep my integrity. You're never going to get clickbait from me. And I'm always going to give you constant content. Because we're both strikers. Yeah, we see the strikers in that way, but you also see the negatives, the formation, the structure in the same way as me, Sean. I've noticed as well when watching your content. It's clear as day. We need two fullbacks in the summer, or fullback and a versatile centre back that can play right back. Danny, I don't think we need two fullbacks. I'm still trying to get my head around why Mazraoui's not playing now. Maybe Mazraoui now starts against left back, or Dallo goes left back, whatever, versus Newcastle, because we now got to wait to see what's happened with Luke Shaw. Sean, I don't know if you've got injured as well, but I am thinking about Luke Shaw here. Because if that's a metatarsal, that could be Shaw done for the season. That could be Shaw out of any chance of going to the World Cup. Metatarsal can take 4 to 8 weeks to heal, depending on which one it is, and whether it's a fracture or a break. He walked off, which makes me think it isn't. But I remember playing back in the day, and I broke 3 metatarsals, because after breaking one and not realizing, and you keep playing on it, it puts stress on the other ones. And yeah, I'm an idiot. As my mum says, I have no sense and no feeling. But I was more determined to score goals, so I didn't care. I have a fullback. He has a fullback video planned. Fisher at Norwich, Sean, stick him on there. Wedding on a Cruise. I think I've seen this movie before. Poseidon. Yeah, I am. I will be checking out the foyer and making sure there's no super huge spiral staircases or anything like that. And that I know where all lifeboats are at any one time. We need 2, Mark. Yeah, no, I know we do. I will be doing transfer videos, so will Sean. Sean, maybe we can link up for a transfer video and keep it a little bit more realistic over the summer, when people start throwing out, oh, we're signing this guy, we're signing that guy, and all of a sudden we spent £1 billion on players, yet they're all just fake links, because I can't be dealing with that. You know, I like a transfer really who I would want, who I see feasible. I know you've just done your video spending your 200 or 250 million. But for me, a transfer is only when he's putting pen to paper. And because now we can't even trust a medical. We all saw what happened to Mateta, who was asked for additional tests and fell through. So even just having a medical book doesn't mean it crosses the line. Dallo Shaw cannot be an option. Metatarsal is 6 to 12 weeks. Yeah, can be. Can be. Everyone's healing at different speed, but let's be fair, this is Luke Shaw, and the guy's made mainly of titanium screws and bolts. That he's probably the closest thing to a walking Wolverine from Marvel that we've seen in sport, with the amount of bolts he's got in him. Knee on knee, wasn't it? Yeah, but that's it. He went down, and Sean, but we saw that Muniz also went straight through, full body weight down, studs on top of the foot. But we'll wait. I haven't seen anything spoken about it afterwards. If it's knee on knee, what the hell are you even doing going off? Unless he's cracked his kneecap, you know. And again, then we're talking a hell of a layoff. Knee on knee is get up, run it off. I'm sorry, I won't accept that as a reason to go off. So I'm hoping it is a metatarsal or a rolling of the ankle or something. Yes, valid points. European football will mean we need to buy more players. He broke his 5th mess up around time Rooney done. Well, Trevor, that's because you and Rooney are the same in some ways, right? We'll leave it there. Like that early in the week, yeah. Timber 2-1. Yeah, I know. I don't think I'm going to get my wish of a draw, but you know, Arsenal taking the lead. Most of us are expecting that's still beneficial in our thing. We're not going to win the league. We got to catch City first. That's now the next target. They're 8 points ahead of us, and if we can do that, then we'll keep an eye on Arsenal. But right now, I don't care if it's keeping players from catching us up. So beating Chelsea helps us out. Yeah, so I would say that's pretty much everything, guys. Carrick says Shaw and Maguire were ill. Well, I've got to be honest, Shaw did look a little bit pale when he was sat down. That's why I was wondering what was going on. So he just looked like, I can't do this. So great. If they're ill, rest up, and we'll see you Wednesday night. What do you mean, Mark? I was a prodigy. What, a prodigy fan? You're no good for me. I don't need nobody. Fire starter. Which one's your favourite, Trevor? Or were you a prodigy in something else, like I don't know, walking football? That seems feasible. So yeah, so guys, been a great show. Love all of it. Is there anything you guys want to ask me? Because this is that part of the show now where we're at an hour, so I'm happy to end it when I am. But I would rather have some feedback with you guys, so I'm not just talking at the camera for an hour straight. Oh, Chelsea's down to 10 men. Not good. Trevor, I'll send. I'll get the phone and I'll send the old bobbies round. Then you've owned up to it. They can finally pursue those cases against you for being a fire starter. I will be doing a preview on Tuesday night for the Newcastle game. We are playing Wednesday, aren't we? Not Tuesday. I'm not going mad. I'm pretty sure we are playing Tuesday. Let's just double check. Yes, we are. We are on Wednesday, 8:15. So I'm guessing for us in the UK, that's TNT Sports. If it's an 8:15 kickoff. So yes. What's we got here? Something going around in the UK. Jacob Ramsey vomited on the pitch. Sean, the UK this time of year, it's breeding season. It's chucking it. It's where I am. It has probably had 4 days where it hasn't rained this year in 2026. But at the same time, the other day it went up to 18 degrees and then rained. So everyone's hot, cold all the time, and that's just the perfect way to breed bacterial. And if you're out and about around football matches and training camps, and you got kids, that's the main one. The kids are killers. Anything could happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's why we got bugs going around. Walking football. You have some cheek on my mobility scooter. Chat up again. Cheers, Mark. Yeah, so guys, I think what we got here. Oh, kids, little petri dishes. Absolutely. They'll take one disease, another disease, put them together, and we've got another super virus going. That's what schools and my best friend Timmy, he picked his nose and I ate it. We all remember the days that there was some disgusting kid at school that was just going around coughing, sneezing on everything. You'll never get away from it. We just try and teach our own kids about personal hygiene. Sean must be on conspiracy time. There's something going around in the UK. Yeah, see, look, Danny's off. He's ready for Sean's show in half hour. Sean, I'll probably pop you a little watch. I'll definitely get a like off of me. Guys, I'm going to end the show here. If you've made it this far, thank you. Brilliant. I really appreciate the watch. I hope my honest opinions, you're coming to understand that they are my opinions and I want yours back. So the next one will be games Wednesday night. I'll do a preview Tuesday night. We should have had a press conference probably released from this today. I'm guessing he won't do one tomorrow. He'll probably do one as a preview and a review sort of press conference with the media tonight. So we should have some details, but don't expect much. But yeah, if you can hit the likes, hit the thumbs up. There's 9 of you watching currently, so I would love a minimum of 9 likes because that's just giving me a number in my head. For all of you watching over on X, totally appreciate it. I've only done 2 shows live on here. Please hit the share, show it, come over to YouTube, hit a subscribe. Much appreciated. I'll be bringing you as much content as I can physically get out, and it is all non-clickbait. So honesty is my policy. But I will leave it there, guys. Like I say, hit that like, hit the follow, hit the notifications, and keep an eye on the all those aspects, and you will know when the next show is. But for me, thank you, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.